Good evening, everybody. How's everybody going tonight? This is Scott Lindstrom. You are hanging on Freedom Fridays with the Influence Tribe. And this is going to be a very special evening tonight because we have somebody that is not only actively making things happen in their business, but has some really great things that's going to help us or help you in 2017. But before we get into that, I'd like to go ahead and say hi to my partner over here, Miguel. How you doing tonight, sir?
I am exceptional, Scott. Thanks for introducing me. I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped about what we have going on with what we're doing here tonight. We have Jelena Ostrovska, and she is still in Las Vegas. She's just hanging out in Las Vegas, which is amazing. And you know, I'm so glad to have her here for a couple of reasons. I mean, not only is she's a young entrepreneur for one, and for two, she's been killing it with blogging, really making it happen, getting traffic whether she works or not, and she's a My Lead System Pro certified coach, which if you have a chance to get a My Lead System Pro certified coach, I would highly recommend you do that. That person can absolutely cut down the time it takes for you to start seeing success. They can see the things that you can't. They can see the blind spots in your marketing. They can find out how best to help you and what direction you need to move in. So for those couple of reasons, I mean, I'm super duper pumped to have her out with us this evening. And I just want to let everybody that's watching this right now, let you know, at some point during this webinar, you're going to get curious. You're going to get curious about this group. Now, we are a group of entrepreneurs that came together. We actually started out as the Dream Team. If you look real hard, you can still find our old videos, but we've done so many Hangouts from over the course of a couple of years, a year and a half or so. And we came together to give marketers weekly training, weekly free training to help you grow your business. And who better to do that than to bring out successful marketers that already know it, can tell you where to go and how to do it right, just like Jelena's with us tonight. Now, if you do decide, and you will, that you want to be a part of this community, there's a big orange button on the right-hand side of this video. Go ahead and click that. Make sure you get behind the scenes wherever you're watching this at. You should be watching this on the influencetribe.com. That's our team website. That's the website we use to promote our group and our team. When you do get that itch, because it'll happen, I promise it'll happen. Click that link over there. Click that big yellow button. Go fill out the form and take your $10 test drive, and we will be getting with you real soon. So with that, I want to bring out Jelena. I've already talked to her a little bit tonight. Jelena, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, before we go ahead and jump in this, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? For those people that are maybe new here, they haven't been a part of our community. Where are you from? And tell us a little bit about your story, how you came into the marketing industry.
Okay, yeah, so first of all, I mean, I'm from Latvia, really small country. It's right next to Russia. It's Eastern Europe. When I say Eastern Europe or when I say Russia, people usually know. I am a Russian marketer, so my kind of first language is Russian. English, is my, second one. So it was a little bit challenging kind of moving from the Russian market to the English market from the language barrier standpoint. And my parents actually got me into network marketing. I mean, they were first, I think they got started maybe in 2012, maybe 2011, something along those lines. In 2013, they found a new company with new exciting products. And I wanted to test out some products. And then I said, what is it? Like, I didn't even know network marketing. I didn't know the even name MLM. I was in high school. I was 18 years old. And then my dad showed me the compensation plan. And I said, Dad, sign me up. So that's kind of how I got into it. And I was a part of Russian team. So in terms of training, I did not know what to do. I just knew that I could earn like $50,000 a month. And I could invest that into going to Harvard. Okay, I had some crazy dreams, and obviously it didn't happen. So the first year, and actually not even the first year in that company, I think I was for around 9 months, 8-9 months. Then we kind of we didn't stick to that companies. And then I said to myself, okay, maybe it's just not the right one. And I decided to move on because it was already the end of 2014. And actually 2013 that was. So because it was the last year of high school and I had a lot of exams going on. I was making those plans to go to college, and I was going to all those courses like intensive English, learn all that, because I didn't want to learn, continue my study in Latvia, because the education kind of sucks over there. So I wanted to go either to the UK or to United States. And then, so I basically spent all of my time into that. I was so tired. I was literally waking up at 6 a.m., coming back home at, 7, 8 p.m., like a full-time job. That's what my mom told me about my school, because I was doing extracurricular activities, and we were, I was in the kind of school parliaments, like the head of the school parliament. We were doing events and all that kind of stuff. And I just got busy, and then I found another network marketing company, which was really similar to my previous one with a different product, really similar structure. And I said, this time I decided not to work with Russians, because I just didn't like I don't like, their kind of business mentality. And I said, okay, so maybe I should kind of move on to the American market. And then I found my upline on Facebook. People say social media doesn't work. It does work if you just, use it the right way. And I got started, and I understood that I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't have any education, nothing, right? So, and then I started digging, and I started seeing, okay, what kind of options are out there? What is it that everyone else is doing that I don't know? Because I was brand new to business. Like in 2014, I was 19 when I got introduced to that, got involved into that company. And then I was just like, I was talking with people on Facebook. I understood the idea of, creating value, and everyone was telling like, create value, share some good stuff with the world. And I'm like, well, where do I find that good stuff? I didn't even know what to share. I didn't know about personal development. I didn't know about personal development books until actually last summer. Well, I think in May or June last year, I read my first personal development book, which was, I think, your first year in network marketing or something like that, even though it was my second year already. I decided to still read it. And I found, I was talking with a guy on Facebook, and he said, Jelena, I see you're going to be doing some great things. You just need a couple of tweaks. You need some training. I said, well, yes, obviously. And he said, well, there are two guys who you should follow. And he sent me the blog for Ray Higdon and Cesar Rodriguez. And then I started digging a little bit deeper, because I didn't know them, but I found, oh my gosh, they're like celebrities. Oh my God, like, can I be like that too? I put everybody on the pedestal, and I found My Lead System Pro. So it started coming up all the time, and I see, okay, Ray Higdon is in that, MLSP thing. Caesar is in it, and I started digging. I'm a green personality, so I needed to learn, what is it? How can it help me? And then I just started noticing it was all over the place. Aaron Parker, who was in my, previous company, he was there, and he freaking sponsored like 140 people. And I was like, what the heck is he doing? And I saw he was an MLSP too. And and then one line that really sold me was Harvard for network marketers. I was like, sign me up. And that's pretty much it. And then obviously I was struggling in MLSP for the first year, because everything was just new. I didn't know what was mindset. I didn't know what was lead generation. I didn't know what was like sales funnels. I seriously had to translate everything from English to Russian, from Russian to English, just to get like this, like to put all the pieces, of puzzle together in my head. And man, it was just tough. I mean, I didn't get like any support, like one-on-one support. We have coaching right now, which is a great thing when you can help somebody go through, from point A to point B, or even to point Z, without all the struggle that I went through, just sitting on those webinars, day in and day in, day out. And yeah, and like, the previous year, from November 2015 up to this point, it's been kind of like a year of breakthroughs and really understanding and just like getting it. And I mean, I went to, Live the Dream 7 events, which, both of you, obviously were there. And that just changed everything. I mean, the last 90 days have been insane, from the standpoint of, kind of opportunities and building a business, and both, income-wise and personal development-wise. And I've been at the second event right now at GoPro, and you just, like, I would say events is probably where it's at. Had I gone to the first, to another event earlier, I could have maybe like, done some things differently, and, the success could be a little bit sooner, but whatever happens, so better later than never. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that you brought up the coaching, and I love that, like, the idea that you can cut back that learning curve is so huge. And I tell people this all the time. If you're brand new, if you don't know anything, you're new in this space and you need to get from point A to point B, like, quick, My Lead System Pro, that's the place to do it. I'm telling you, that's awesome. So Jelena, tell us a little bit about, like, how do you coach? I know you're a certified coach. So what do you kind of advise people to do when they're first new?
I mean, when they're getting started, I would say get your head right, because a lot of people just have, excuse my language, so much junk in their heads. And I mean, honestly, with some clients, I have different clients that work for like 6 months together with me. Some of them are working with, say 6 weeks or, 3 months or whatever. And with one client, I spent, gosh, I think the first 2 months, just mindset, I mean, because here's the difference. I mean, I can teach you the strategies, but if your head is just full of junk, yesterday I did a really intense call. Like, I actually have my friend Anna over here, and she was like scared. She said, I don't want to be on your bedside, because some people just need that nudge, and they just need like a freaking kick in the butt. Because I know I needed that, because I was not doing anything last year until August, right? And mindset is probably the first thing, and really understanding why you're doing that. Your vision is, and I was doing a call yesterday again with that same woman, and she just doesn't have a vision. She said, well, I want to make money. And I said, well, it's not a vision. It's just, making money is just the lowest form of motivation. It's not going to get you anywhere, because it's just going to keep you comfortable, and you're going to sit there, especially if you, like in a decent financial situation. And I mean, mindset and your vision, because if you don't know why you're doing something, you're not going to wake up in the morning excited to start the day and just get going and do those blog posts and videos and all that kind of stuff. And another thing is personal development, because people always ask, how do I do this, or how do I do that? Where should I get started? And I really take it back to basics, which is what I'm going to do on the webinar today. And because people just get stuck among so many strategies. I know I did when there's Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and webinars and all that kind of stuff. You just have that shiny object syndrome that I want to do everything. So, and that never works out. So I know it didn't work for me. I know it doesn't work for people when they say, well, I just added Instagram and I just added Twitter. And I say, why the heck are you doing that? I told you to focus on Facebook. And we kind of like got to this point where you do focus on Facebook only. Why the heck are you doing Instagram? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because we have this Russian proverb which says, if you try to catch 2 rabbits at the same time, you won't catch either. So, and I say this to people all the time. And it's like, damn, just can you listen? And I seriously ask people, can you be coachable? That's kind of like what the sales professionals are also determining. And also, the reason I love coaching is because it's real, and you actually have one-on-one support, as well as you can, like, your friends and family are not going to say, kind of bad things for you. I mean, my dad told me, like, some bad things that I didn't do anything in my business, but not everyone is like my dad. That's why when you have a coach who can freaking push you and tell you that, dude, you're not doing anything, you have no progress over the last, let's say, 2 months, sometimes I do not even focus just on the progress, income-wise, because for some people, the whole foundation is just their mindset, because they come from that mentality that I'm going to get paid based on the amount of hours I work. So it's like a lot of kind of reconditioning, should I say. So mindset, I would say the first thing. The second thing is going to be, personal development, because, you have to keep learning every single day, reading, listening to audios, and, just doing the regular personal development routine, because coaching is great, but I cannot teach you everything. Sometimes it's just one little thing that you're going to read in a book, and it's going to make a whole difference. And then just, keeping it simple, really going back to, as Diane Hoffman says, zero-level marketing. So what should you be doing on a daily basis, like your routine, and then structure everything else around that routine.
That's freaking awesome. I love that. I absolutely love that. That's like the heart and soul of what we're learning here in My Lead System Pro. That's good stuff. Jelena, I mean, we have a bunch of people jumping on. I'd love for you to go ahead and jump into your 3 action steps here and share with us exactly like how do we go full time with just these 3 action steps?
Yeah, so today what I'm going to share with you is really the basic stuff that you should be doing in your business, because we tend to overcomplicate everything. And I mean everything when it comes to what am I supposed to be doing daily, you know, really your daily routine. Because like I said, with all the strategies, with all the tactics, with everything, we just get so confused because every single week there's a new webinar that talks about search engine optimization or about video marketing or about Facebook ads or about anything. So I did not want to kind of overcomplicate this and, you know, make it a whole another training about a different strategy that I'm using or something like that. That's why I decided to go, you know, to take it back to really the principles that you should be implementing every single day. And around those principles, you can pretty much, you know, structure your whole routine, no matter what kind of social media you're going to be using, whether it's going to be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you name it. So that's the 3-step. You know, I have always been full-time in business, but if you are part-time right now and you have a full-time job, then if you just stick to the basics, then, and if you remain consistent, then, you know, this will really work for you. And honestly, when people say, what's the secret? There is no secret. There are really 3 steps and that's it. So do not overcomplicate everything like, you know, like I used to. So the first thing I do want to mention before even diving into the 3 steps is your mindset, because like I said, most people, they just have that bad conditioning and they, you know, have limiting beliefs that I don't know if I can do this. I don't know why people would listen to me. I had this too. I mean, I had like a big limiting belief last year, which was, why would people listen to a 20-year-old kid who's trying to talk about, you know, business and blogging and those videos? So I had a lot of junk in my head as well. So that's why your mindset is really the very first thing. And one thing that I learned from Tony Robbins, and I mean, I seriously have been implementing that one thing for the last 2+ years. Resources are never the problem. Lack of resourcefulness is the problem. Well, so what I mean by that is no matter what kind of resources you have right now, use what you have. And, you know, resourcefulness is what you need, because the thing is, let's say, my first year in My Lead System Pro, I was just confused. I didn't know what to do. You know, there is a lot of training and it was really step-by-step, and it did help me understand a couple of things like the basics. But then, like I said, I'm a green personality, so I need to know everything. I need to know the details. And let's say, you know, kind of my referring affiliates is Cesar Rodriguez, and I didn't want to ask him stupid questions because I know his time is valuable, and I really didn't leverage the community in MLSP. I don't know why, I just kind of forgot about it, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna figure it out. So, and that's how I kind of started, you know, became resourceful, should I say, because had I not known how to Google or how to find something on YouTube, I would not be doing this webinar. I would still be probably stuck trying to ask everybody. And although it's a good thing to ask, you know, and have somebody who's going to help you one-on-one, but in some cases, let's say even with coaching, I do teach people to become resourceful, because, I mean, obviously I'm not going to be here to hold your hand every single day. So because I'm doing those calls weekly, so if you don't understand something, yes, you can message me, but, you know, in some cases, I'm actually going to point people to Google and say, hey, here's how to Google that. Here's where the resource is. Do it. Because that's, I mean, I had to become resourceful myself, and I do train people to do that as well, because all the information that you need is out there. I mean, just to give you an example, which was kind of funny. I mean, let's see. Yeah, so yesterday I had a problem in my computer. So ever since I came to the States, I could not turn it off. So I'm on Mac, and I had like Google Chrome. It just didn't, you know, close, and it was like, you know, big fat error and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't understand what to do. I just couldn't figure it out. What I did, I went to Google and I asked him, Mac, Google Chrome like won't close or something like that. So I Googled that, and I found an answer, which was, you know, pretty technical stuff. I had to like open some and like put some kind of code and all that kind of stuff. So I did what Google told me, and it worked. And I finally was able to close my computer, and you know, it's finally back to normal. So honestly, resourcefulness applies to everything, not just business, because whenever you have some kind of issue, Google is always going to be there to support you, because it's like, you know, like your encyclopedia, should I say. So The second thing is, this is huge. Yesterday, I was doing a coaching call with a new client, and I asked her, hey, how are you doing? Are you excited? She said, well, I'm doing good, but not as good as you are. And I said, wait a second. Why the heck are you saying this to me? Are you really comparing yourself to me? Are you going to compare yourself to your coach or to any other person that you're going to be talking to? And she said, well, I don't usually compare myself. And I said, no, you just did. So, and this is huge. I mean, I used to compare myself to everybody else. And to be honest, it's just going to suck up your time. It's not going to be productive for your business at all. So, and honestly, just like this little line, I really hope it's gonna, stick with at least one person, which is stop comparing your level A to their level Z. So let's say if you, are just getting started and you're kind of thinking, oh, I'm not doing really good. I wish I was Ray Higdon or something like that. So do not compare yourself to Ray Higdon or to all the big leaders, and do not compare yourself to anybody else either. Even when you get started and you kind of have, let's say, an accountability partner and you work together and you get started, like during the similar time, and you do the similar strategies or something like that. I mean, I have personally an accountability partner, and we never compare each other, compare yourself to each other. But what we do is we compare kind of our activities, what she's doing, what I'm doing, how we can kind of, mastermind and, get better, by kind of combining two brains. But never compare yourself to other leaders and to anybody, because it's just taking away your power, and it's just taking away your focus from actually focus on your goals, which is, where you should be headed towards. And the third thing is, this is big. I learned this from Ray. So do it until and despite, because along the way, you're going to have friends and family who say to you that you're crazy. You're going to have, maybe like, I don't know, your coworkers who say, like, what the heck are you doing? You're going to have different, obstacles in your head, and you're going to have days when you want to quit. And so do it until the point when you create that success that you want, and keep going either way. Like, you're not going to stop until you hit some kind of goal, because there's always going to be a new goal. If you hit one, there's going to be another one. If you hit the second one, it's going to be another one. So it's, just like an ongoing, goal setting and goal getting process. And do it despite what others say. I mean, my classmates thought I was crazy when I said that I'm doing this MLM thing or this, pyramid thing. They said, don't you want to go to college? I said, well, I wanted to, but I'm not going. I'm not going to waste my time on college. And again, don't get me wrong. If you want to become a doctor, you do need to get a degree. I'm not going to go to a surgeon who doesn't have a degree or this little piece of paper. So, but if you, honestly, all the other professions, except for lawyer, you don't really need to have a degree. I mean, my mom has one and it's useless. So that's why, I mean, do it despite what others say, because there's going to be a lot of naysayers. There's going to be a lot of, negative Nancy's who tell you that, you're nuts. What the heck are you doing with your life? Just keep going and really look at other people and see that if they were able to create success, then you can do the same. You can do the exact same thing. And I used to always put all the leaders on the pedestal, but when I met Ray Higdon in person and, Cesar Rodriguez this weekend, I met him. I mean, everyone else, they're not special. They're just regular people who did different things. And they did it until the point where they created success, and they did it despite what others said, and despite all the obstacles, and despite all the limiting beliefs, because quitting is always too soon. Okay, so, and then I already mentioned, personal development a little bit. And I think it's huge, because if you don't grow every single day, if you don't learn at least one thing, one new thing every single day, your day is just wasted. So that's why I'm telling that, you have to be, I have a funny picture over here. So, and like, there are different ways on how to do personal development. One thing, you have to be doing that daily. I think Jim Rohn said that, you can skip a meal, but you cannot skip, a book or, like personal development. So let's say if it's going to be, 10 pages a day, or it's going to be 20 pages a day, or it's going to be some kind of audio. I mean, reading, listening. I know some people, they are not really fans of, reading a book, and they say, well, I'm too busy to do that. I don't really have, kind of that focus or something like that. Then do audiobooks. I mean, there's always an alternative to how to consume content, how to do the personal development. So reading or listening, it should be, at minimum like 20 minutes a day. or like 30 minutes a day. Like some people do go crazy, like 3 hours of personal development. If you're not able to do that, then don't do that. Focus 30 minutes a day on learning something new, and the rest of the time just apply what you are learning. I mean, YouTube videos, I mean, if you need to find some kind of like marketing help, or you need to find some kind of how-to, YouTube is probably the best one. And honestly, another way I do leverage YouTube is to get some kind of motivation and to get you know, a little bit more maybe inspired in the morning. Because let's say if you kind of start your day and you don't feel like doing something, and we all have those days when, like, you know, I just don't want to do anything. So what I do, and I say this to clients, type in for example, Les Brown motivation, or Eric Thomas motivation, or Eric Thomas, you know, just type in their name. I mean, those two are probably my favorites. So they always like kind of get my head back into the game. So, and just like a 5-minute video, sometimes it can do, you know, a big difference. I know it does for me. So, you know, find your speaker, whether it's going to be Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone or, you know, whomever. And, you know, if it's helpful, then keep doing that. And obviously, you know, one YouTube video per day is not going to count as a personal development. So it's just going to be, should I say, an addition to everything else. So webinars, I mean, webinars just like this one. I mean, if you want to learn the skills, if you want to learn some strategies and, you know, just, you know, get better, then webinars is a great way to, you know, to learn. I've been on webinars for the full year. When I was just starting MLSP, I was on all webinars, whether it was in MLSP, whether it was in like outside of MLSP, I didn't really care. Like if there's a webinar, I'm there. So courses, I mean, that was probably the biggest game changer for me, because in my first year, I didn't really, you know, invest into a lot of courses because I kind of didn't know which were the good ones, which were the bad ones. I didn't really want to kind of waste my money on stuff that's not going to work. But I think the first course that I bought was last year, the 3-Minute Expert, and it just made sense. So, you know, the course by Ray Hidden on blogging, and I just said to myself, I'm going to make the most out of this course. So courses, and the reason I like them, you can watch webinars, but in courses, they really break it down like step by step. So, and that's what I personally needed when it came to blogging in particular. So, so again, like if you want to really dive deeper into any kind of subject, whether it's going to be video marketing or webinars or blogging, courses is probably the best way to go. And like as Ray Higdon says, free is your most expensive option, because on webinars, you're going to spend a lot of time. It's better to invest, you know, $300 or $500 into a course that's going to kind of condense time and, you know, just going to be faster, and you're going to have that clarity on what you should be doing, you know, based, you know, in terms of, you know, a particular skill that you want to master. And another way, this is probably my best, you know, my favorite personal development way is live events, because it's just a different energy. It's just a different kind of vibe, should I say. I mean, courses and webinars are good, and, you know, reading and all that, and that's something you should be doing daily. Live events, obviously, you're going to go to them every single day, but at least once or twice a year, it should be like minimum, whether it's going to be your company events, whether it's going to be some generic events like Live the Dream or GoPro Recruiting Mastery by Eric Worre. So, but, you know, I experienced that myself, because when you just go watch webinars, you're on your own. But when you go to those live events, it's like you get to meet the speakers and you get to meet the people who you've been listening to online. And I mean, it's just a different experience. So like live events, I would say, is just a game changer, because you get to meet those people and you kind of get your name out there, should I say, because in the beginning, nobody knows you. But live events, I mean, they changed everything for me. So another way is coaching. So if you are ready for, you know, kind of, if you need one-on-one help, then coaching is probably going to be the way to go. You know, it's just great to have someone, you know, to kick your butt and to have somebody who's going to say, you know, the stuff that you need to hear rather than the stuff that you want to hear. Because, for example, I mean, my parents usually are not going to say anything bad to me. You know, they say, well, you're doing good and you're doing blogging, all that kind of stuff. But when you have a coach, he's going to say, well, here's something you're not doing. Here's something where you have to improve. And I mean, they just tell you and they see what you do not see. Like, just like what Miguel mentioned in the beginning. Because, I mean, you can spend a lot of time, you know, doing this business on your own and thinking that you're doing the right thing. But, you know, whenever I talk with coaching clients, I mean, like, I just see the stuff that they are not doing. And when somebody reaches out to me and they ask, why am I not getting results? And I ask them, like, are you doing this? Are you doing that? And when they say no, and I say, well, that's why you're not getting results. So that's kind of when it comes to personal development. So now let's get to like the stuff when it comes to, you know, your DMO, your daily mode of operation. So this is something you have to be doing every single day. So these are, like, you know, the 3 steps. So the first step is you have to create a piece of content, and it can be anything. I mean, and honestly, here's a little distinction, should I say, because sometimes people think that if I post one image on Instagram, it's a piece of content. No, it's not a piece of content. A piece of content is either a video or a Facebook Live or what else do we have? A blog post, obviously. Those are the main ones that I do consider a piece of content. So let's say, you know, if I don't do personally a blog post, you know, every single day, I do blogging 4 times a week. All the other days, I'm going to do you know, a Facebook Live, or, you know, a podcast. Maybe you're doing a podcast, or maybe a webinar. Maybe you're crazy and you're doing webinars every single day. So a piece of content is a big one. I mean, an email to your list, it could be a piece of content, and some people do consider it, you know, like that. Could be, but you have to, you know, get new leads. You have to generate more leads, and that can be done through the content. So the second thing is you have to meet at least 10 to 20 new people every single day. You know, it can be like 5 to 10, depending on your schedule. I put, you know, 10, 20 new people because that's something that I've been doing. And it's just, you know, obviously the more people you connect with, the faster your business is going to grow. So it's, you know, as they say, it is a numbers game. So, and I would say this step is probably the most important one, because, you know, you can create all the content in the world, but if you don't have anybody who's going to listen, then you're just wasting your time. So, and I believe in the beginning specifically, and you know that for network marketing, you have to go and prospect, whether it's going to be online or offline. You need kind of new blood for your business. So that's why when people say, well, why am I not getting results? And I say, well, are you actually connecting with new people every single day? And they say no. Then that's the reason why you're not getting results. And it is kind of, it can be scary to go out there and start a conversation with people and, you know, to do all that kind of stuff. But that's something you have to be doing. In the beginning, you have to do the stuff that's going to be uncomfortable, that eventually it is going to become comfortable, and you're going to be like, you know, okay, you know, how many people do I connect with today? So it was difficult for me in the beginning too, because, you know, I have always been, you know, an introvert. For me to start a conversation was, you know, kind of difficult, especially in English. So, but, you know, that's something you have to be doing. It's a must. You know, especially in the beginning, you have to hit big numbers. I mean, in the beginning, when I decided to take my business seriously last year, for 90 days, and actually I think it was like, you know, 180 days, I was just talking to 20 people. I was sending 20 messages per day, every single day on Facebook. And that's pretty much how I grew my audience up to this point. But in the beginning, that's something you have to do. Like, I know some people go, you know, try to go even crazier, like 30, 40, 50 people. If you have time, by all means do that. If you don't have time, stick to 5 to 10 or 10 to 20 people every single day. So, and number 3 is the follow-up, because that's what most people forget about. And they just think, well, I'm just going to go talk to people, sign them up. No, it's not working that way. And I'll tell you, like, over the last, I mean, like in the last 90 days, I think I had like maybe 5 or 7 people that joined MLSP that I've connected with over a year ago. You know, some of them have been following me for, I don't know, like for 5 months, for 6 months. Some of them have been following me for about a year. And that's just the follow-up, because, and I would say consistency. So if you do all of those 3 steps consistently, day in and day out, that's when you're going to create results, because you cannot expect to create a piece of content every single day for a week and then hope to get results, or to go for like 30 days and hope to get some results out of that. It's not going to happen that way. So I would say a minimum commitment that you should make to yourself is 90 days. Because, I mean, I did a 90-day blitz last year, and then I just continued. I just kept doing another one. I did like one 90-day blitz, and then I did another one. And that's when you have to gain momentum. In 30 days, it's really difficult to gain some kind of momentum. You can build some kind of foundation, you know, building up the audience, you know, creating that content. Because in the beginning, obviously, you may not have a ton of content out there. I sure didn't. So, but once you build it up, like within 90 days, you can have about 90 pieces of content out there. So whether it's going to be blog posts, or it's going to be Facebook Lives, or it's going to be regular videos, whatever. And, if you connect, for example, with 10 new people every single day, over a course of 90 days, it's going to be 900 people. So do you think you're going to sign up at least, 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 people? Most definitely, because, as I say, it is a numbers game. And by follow-up, what I mean is either getting on the phone, when you generate leads, you have to pick up the phone and call them. When you generate leads, if you are building an email list, which you should be doing, do send them emails. Some people say, well, I'm just going to send 1 email a day or like 1 email a week. I mean, really, 1 email a week, people are going to forget about you. And again, it has to be consistent. Some people say, well, every single day it's a little bit too aggressive. I would not say that. I mean, I do not think that 1 email every single day is aggressive. My email list, like over the course of a week, when I was in an affiliate, kind of in an affiliate contest, they were getting about 2 to 3 emails every single day from me. So it was my content, it was promotion, it was bonuses, all that kind of stuff. And I think I actually had maybe, within 2 weeks, I think maybe maximum 3 to 5 people unsubscribed. So when you are consistent and when you build relationships with your list, then there's really no too much. I mean, like, obviously if you send like 5 or 10 emails a day, that's kind of crazy, and like no one should be doing that. But 1 email a day, I would say it's a good kind of routine to stick to. And also Messenger, I mean, I've built up like all of my business just by using Facebook. I mean, I have been using Instagram in the beginning, but I decided to stick with Facebook because, there's a lot of options how to build a business using Facebook. I mean, the Facebook Live, the, just like the connecting with people, images and status updates. So there's a good kind of mixture between all the social media platforms. So, and through Messenger, I mean, you can do so much just by using that one Messenger app. So that's kind of like the follow-up process. So I'm going to go and I'm going to head on over to Facebook and to show you pretty much like what I do on a daily basis and what you should be doing, especially when starting out. So I'll show you where to find people, because most people kind of struggle. If I go to Facebook, I don't have people to talk to. I mean, with over 1 billion people, I'm sure you're going to find some prospects to talk to. Excuse me. So I'm going to show what to say to them, because it can be a little bit difficult how to start a conversation, and some people just start a conversation in a very wrong way. Because I had a coaching client, and he actually showed me some of his messages. No, actually, he said to me, Jelena, I sent 20 messages a day, but I only had 1 person respond. And I said, well, what kind of message are you sending? Can you show me? And he showed me that message, and I said, well, that's the reason you're not having anybody to respond to you. So number 3 is how to follow up effectively without being pushy or salesy. So I'm going to show you one trick that has helped me out tremendously over the last year specifically. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to head on over to the Facebook, and let me go back to my Google Chrome. Okay, so first thing, I mean, probably the best place to find people to connect with is going to be fan pages. So right now it's Eric Worre's fan page, the #1 resource to become a network marketing professional. Join our community. So, I mean, I've been using pretty much just this fan page. So, and one little tip, I mean, some people say, well, if everyone is going to go to this fan page, I mean, we're all going to run out of people. No, I mean, have an abundance mentality, because there's over 1 million people on here. So I'm pretty sure that there's enough for everybody. Okay, because when people say, I don't know, what if she signs up somebody? What if he gets my person? No, like, you're going to attract the right person to your business. Because let's say if I go here and I start, interacting with people, and I start, participating in a conversation, some people are going to relate to me. Some people are not going to relate to me. Some people are going to relate more to Miguel or to Scott or to anybody else who's on the webinar. So there's plenty for everybody. I mean, with over 1 million people, I think you're good to go. So
there's enough to go around, I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, and here's pretty much like my routine that I've been doing for, like I said, like 90 or 180 days, which is just being out there. Because most people say, well, I don't know, like, how do I attract people? So, and the first part is actually going out there and building up the audience, which is Go, like, not just by going and liking different posts, you know, liking those videos, which is what I'm doing right now, but actually participating in a conversation. Because the way for you to, like, how to use Facebook to attract people is not just by going out there and, you know, sending like messages and sending spammy messages, hey, join my business, buy my stuff. It's not going to work that way. And actually, this is a cool kind of way for you to start, should I say, you know, let's say if you're an introvert and you don't know how to start a conversation. I've been actually using that kind of like, gosh, I think like actually this year, because I got a little bit too lazy. I didn't want to send 20 messages a day because I kind of had, you know, some people reaching out to me already. So it was, you know, plenty of people to talk to, you know, already. And I was like, well, I'm just going to go and network. I'm just going to go and participate in conversations like I mentioned, because Facebook is not about spamming people. Facebook is not about just, you know, kind of prospecting, because some people just perceive, I would say, Facebook prospecting in a negative connotation. And they kind of say, well, I don't want to prospect. I mean, if you don't want to prospect, then don't really call it that way. Call it, you know, social media networking. And that's really what it is, because I don't really call it prospecting. I don't really prospect on social media. I just go and I meet new people every single day. I would say that's kind of the mentality you have to adopt, because you're not just going out there with some kind of agenda to get people. I mean, my goal is to just meet people where they are, to make a friend, and that's it. Because I have a lot of friends that I'm not even building a business together with, and we're just good friends, right? So it's not about, you know, signing up everybody, because, you know, some people may not be ready right now, but you just never know when you're going to be working together. So for example, I have two good friends within MLSP, Sherry Brown and Kay Samji. So we're, you know, three of us are coaches. And it's funny because I connected with Sherry in Austin. We were kind of chatting a little bit, you know, before Austin about coaching and about all that kind of stuff. But I mean, right now we're doing a project together. So, I mean, we never prospected each other for anything. And like, you know, with Sherry, we're actually in the same network marketing company on the same team. So you never know when, like, how the relationship is going to, you know, to grow and into what direction, you know, you're going to go. Because with some people, you may be connected with somebody on Facebook right now that you're not building a business together yet, but a year from now, it can change. So I would say always focus on the long term. Don't just try to get people right now, because they, you know, they may not be ready yet. Okay, so, and this is pretty much what I'm doing. So first of all, like I said, you have to get your name out there. So the way to do it is to become visible on Facebook. And honestly, it applies to every other social media. Let's say if you go to Twitter, if you go to Instagram, you can do the exact same thing. I mean, the principle is the same. I'm just using Facebook because that's, you know, the social media that I've been using personally. So let's say I go over and I see what kind of stuff Eric Worre is posting. So it's a quote by John Eller: how you get there is almost always different than your plan to get there. So what I usually do is I read the quote, and he's posting a lot of quotes over here, okay? So, and if that's a video, I can watch the video. You know, that one is, you know, kind of 29 minutes. I mean, I can go and watch that. And then I leave a comment. You know, you don't just like something because no one's actually going to notice your name this way. But what you do is you leave a comment, you know, leave something like that. So this is actually a good example. Life is always full of different paths to the same destination. Pick one and enjoy the ride. So that's a good example of a kind of comment that you can leave on that fan page. Because if you just leave something like nice quote or love it, it's freaking boring. No one's actually going to notice that. So you have to give your opinion on things and to, I would say, be a little bit more, you know, should I say maybe like even descriptive. So I usually leave maybe like, you know, 1 sentence or 2 sentence, you know, comments. So like 2-liners, usually always great because they're pretty quick to read. And if people like it, then they can like this comment. So for example, these comments, you know, some people liked it. What I usually do is I go and I connect with people. So I had like some comments where like, you know, 10, 20 people liked it. And then I go and I don't really send friend requests to people, but I would go and, you know, follow them. Okay, so that's kind of what I've personally been doing. I mean, in the beginning, I was sending a lot of friend requests, but just because you know, I didn't know that I could actually follow people. You know, like I said, I was kind of brand new, and but like just a little warning: if you send too many friend requests, like 20, 30, 50 a day, and the majority of people do not, you know, accept those friend requests, Facebook can put you into Facebook jail, which is, you know, not that fun, and you're not going to be able to send friend requests for some kind of time. So just keep in mind, I would rather follow somebody than send them a friend request. So that's just kind of my preference. So let's say, and if I go here and I follow, for example, Ricky, so I can go look up his profile, I can like his comments, you know, I can reply to his comment as well. And for some reason, it won't, okay, let me comment, let me like this comment. And then I go to the person's profile and I just see what they're posting. So this one may look like a big leader or something like that because he has, you know, a lot of engagement going on. So, and he has pictures with Eric Worre, all that kind of stuff. So I usually follow somebody, and then even before sending them a message, sometimes, I mean, right now I don't really send a lot of messages personally, but I can go and I can kind of start a conversation through the post. So let's say if he's posting, you know, this little, you know, status update, which I'm not going to read right now, I can like it and I can leave a comment. And I would say the key on Facebook is just, you know, leaving more comments than actually liking stuff, because that's the way to, like I said, get noticed. And, you know, this guy, Ricky, he seems to be pretty kind of social. So he is responding to comments. And that's the way to attract people. Okay, so that's kind of the basic. And again, like, just go and start conversations with people. I would say it's probably the easiest stuff you can do. So let's say, Wilma, such a great interview and story. So I can go like this comments and respond. So you pretty much kind of get the gist. So here's, you know, the events. And again, I do this, you know, do this every single day, at least 10-15 minutes. You don't have to go and like, comment on all the posts, but, you know, leave some comments on 3 posts, on 5 posts, or something like that. And if you want, you can choose this fan page. If not, you can go to, let's say, Tony Robbins. You know, he's getting a lot of engagement himself as well. So like this post, you know, it's a, you know, pretty crazy one. He has a lot of engagement. We have some MLSP people commenting here as well. So that's pretty much like when it comes to starting a conversation. And then I just go to different people's profiles and I see, you know, what they're posting. And actually, here's the second method you can use to find a ton of people, which I mean, if you just start using that, I'm telling you, you are going to build, you know, pretty big audience. So here's what you can do. And this is, I shared this with my client yesterday, and it's kind of, should I say, a chain effect, if you will. So let's say this guy, he's getting a ton of engagement on his post. What I'm going to do is I click on the amount of people that's, you know, liked it. And then I see, you know, in the beginning, obviously it's going to be my friends, right? The ones that I already have on my friends list. The other ones are going to be the ones that are not on my friends list. Okay. So what I usually do is I look at their profile. Okay. So she works, you know, in a network marketing company, and I just open up their profiles, and, you know, I usually like open up a bunch of people. And usually I actually open up only the people that we have mutual friends with, because that's kind of, if I send a message to Rob, most likely he's going to get it into his other folder, and he's probably going to see it, you know, in 20 years, because most people do not really actually check, you know, their, you know, different folders, and they don't really know about those folders in the Facebook. And then I go to this person and I see, okay, she's working in, you know, network marketing company. She's posting content. Because that's a big factor for me. I'm not going to connect with somebody who is, you know, has not been posting anything for like 5 years, or for like even 5 months or something like that, because there's a good chance they're not really going to respond. So, and she is, let's say, she's sharing some videos and, you know, doing some content. So I can go ahead. The first part, it would be to like the post, you know, to leave a comment, and then I would go and follow her. You know, sometimes I do send a message, sometimes not. And here's what you can say in the first message. So it's really, really easy. You don't really have to start a conversation with, hey, how are you generating leads for your business? Hey, are you doing okay in your business? No, don't do that kind of stuff. So, and also, I go and like their profile picture. I go and like, yeah, I can leave a comment over there. Okay, I mean, it was actually, there was one guy who had the same dog that I used to have. I started a conversation based on that. I said like, oh my gosh, you have a great dog. I used to have, you know, Rottweiler, you know, myself too. So, and I can say like, how old is yours? You know, something simple, not even about business, just be freaking social. So, and let's say with this person, what I can do is, let's say if I, let's say she's posting about the book. So Tim Ferriss, like a new book or something like that. So I can like it, leave a comment, and then I would message her about this particular post. And, you know, ending the message with a question. So the first thing is, obviously I'm going to, you know, just like say, hi, hey, Barry. Then I'm going to mention the reason why I'm messaging to her, which is going to be just saw your post about, XYZ. And let's say, so I know this is what our Circle of Champions come. Okay, so then I can mention, like, how are you, if she has already read the book, I can say, how are you enjoying the book? So, just start a normal conversation, not about business. Like I said, your goal is to make friends and to build rapport, because without rapport, you will never build a business with anybody. So that's kind of, should I say, my formula when it comes to connecting with people and when it comes to finding a lot of people. And the same thing, let's say I go to the second person, like Filipa, okay, and then what I'm going to do, like, she has like kind of a lot of junk on her profile or something, then I can go to her, to her page and see like who I'm not connected with yet. So let's say, like, I can open up Kimberly, okay, or I can open up Helen or Nora, and then so on and so forth. So that's the way to find a lot of people, okay? So that's kind of, I would say, my strategy when it comes to finding people. I mean, I don't personally use any other. The reason for that is because on the fan pages, people are active, especially if they leave comments, especially if they like their, those posts. Because let's say if you go to Facebook groups, which actually is another strategy to find people, but I don't really find it to be working super good. So that's why, like, I didn't really gain a lot of, active people through Facebook groups, but fan pages, they do work a lot better. There's also graph search. So I'm not personally using it much, but you can actually find local people. So let's say if you're going to go ahead and type in people who like Eric Worre and live in, Brooklyn or whatever. So type in your, type it in the search, and then you're going to be able to find, you just click on people, and we can find anything. Maybe we're going to try better. Let's say, or who like Network Marketing Pro. So maybe, just the wrong name of the fan page. So that's the way to find people in your area who are already in your niche. Okay. And I guess I cannot, get it to work. So maybe, like, let's say but yeah, you get the idea. I mean, so you just have to search a little bit better. So that's kind of when it comes to Facebook. And when it comes to the follow-up, this is the good part. I mean, I love this stuff. And again, like, 2 other fan pages that I can recommend is number 2, Tanya Robbins, and number 3, Brandon Bouchard. So, and obviously that's the profile. So you want to go back to his fan page, not the profile. So, and he's actually, I'm thinking that he is probably going to, maybe he is already a supporter of network marketing profession, because he's actually speaking next year at Eric Worre's event at GoPro in Las Vegas. So that's kind of cool. So, and again, how to follow up with people. I mean, when you have a lot of people, when it comes to, like, when you start conversations, when you talk to people, when you do all that stuff, you're going to, like, my friends list is around like a little over 2,100 people. So I did kind of clear it out and, try to keep it, fresh. So what you want to do is to structure those people. So because when you have 2,000 friends, or even more, or even 1,000, or even 500 friends, like whatever the number is, you are not going to see everybody's post in your newsfeed, right? So I see some of the ads, I see, some pictures, like whatever, right? I'm not going to see everybody's posts. So the way to do that is, let's say if you're talking with somebody today and they might be open maybe to your primary business or to MLSP or whatever, right? You can structure people and follow up with them like that. So let's say I have like 3 different lists that show up over here. I have MLSP prospects, I have MLSP team, I have MLM prospects, because like I said, it's all about the follow-up. This is probably one of my favorite ways of the follow-up, is because your goal on social media is to stay in front of your audience. So, by posting content, by engaging with other people. And here's the way Facebook algorithm works, because let's say I have over 2,000 friends, and clearly I don't get, 2,000 likes on my status updates or on my pictures, but and it's never going to be like that. I mean, like, with Facebook algorithm, only about 5-7% of people do see your stuff. So the way to do that is you have to create lists and actually engage with people, because the more you engage with other people, the more you go, like their status updates, the more you go and leave some comments, then the more people are going to see your stuff. Okay, and and it's not like a, it's not a, what do you call it? Like it's the truth, should I say, because I've done it and I've been seriously kind of going into different people's profiles and seeing what they're posting, the ones that I haven't really engaged a lot. And then I go like a couple of their posts, I leave a couple of comments. And then what happens is, number one, they kind of get curious, who is this chick? And they go back to my profile and they see what I'm posting. So that's the way to kind of get noticed with your content, which I'm going to get in, in just a second. So, and Facebook algorithm works that way. So when you comment and, engage with other people, they're going to engage, back, not all of them, but a good portion of them will. So, and that's the way I like to create lists, because, like I said, I had a lot of people who joined me in MLSP who, we have not really connected a lot, but they just kept seeing my stuff. They just, go to Facebook and see like all the content, videos, all that, stuff that I'm posting. So the way to do that is on the left-hand side of Facebook, you're going to see friends. It's actually going to be under apps, under groups, could be, probably over here. I mean, they did change some stuff. So I have like a fun list that I created over here. So if you hover over, you're going to be able to see more. So when you click on it, or actually you can just go to the direct link, which is going to be facebook.com/bookmarks/lists. And here's what you can do. So you can either have the list that you, have created for yourself. Let's say if I head over to, this is actually an event list that I created last year. So I went to events and I was like, well, I want to keep in touch with those people that I've met. And I just created a list of the people that I met at the event, right? So when I see what they're posting, I can go and I can engage with their stuff. And kind of like, just to keep in touch, even though we're not messaging each other, we're still in contact through, the posts, and we see what everyone else is doing. So in order for you to create a list, it's pretty simple. Like I said, go, to click on the more stuff that you, let's see, I think it is, okay, over here, more, and then click on create list. So you just give it a name, and then you add the members, and let's say you can, just add people like that. So it's pretty easy. And then you're able to see that custom newsfeed of those people, because just imagine if you had created a list of, for example, your primary business prospects, and somebody's just not ready. You just go and you don't have really like an agenda, but I just stay in contact with people, because you never know when they're going to get ready. So that's just a cool way to follow up. It's probably one of my favorite ones. So especially if you're really active on Facebook, that tip, I mean, it can make you a ton of money if you just really focus on structuring your list and focus on kind of organizing your friends list, because the more you grow it, the more people are going to be on the list, and the more difficult it's going to be kind of to manage them. So that's kind of part of Facebook. So, but here's the part. So here's the second thing that I do want to mention when it comes to social media. And people say, well, I'm going to go prospect, but then it's like, well, I don't actually have people reaching out to me. I'm not signing anybody up. Like, what's the problem? The thing is, prospecting is not enough. Okay, especially if you're using Facebook. I mean, prospecting offline, it can be enough if you just want to go, hit the shopping malls and all that kind of stuff. Then you can go away just with prospecting. With Facebook, just prospecting is not going to work. I mean, it can, but you still, I mean, there are a couple of things you have to do, which is you have to create content, because on Facebook, every single person is like an open book. So if I go to, let's say, Scott's profile, or to Miguel's profile, or to anybody else's profile, I can see what they're doing. I can see, where they're traveling, like what kind of business are, like I'm not going to see what kind of business are they doing if you're a professional, but your social media, your Facebook timeline, it's pretty much like your face. Okay, so do you have something to share with people there, or it's just going to be empty? Because like I said, on Facebook, there are two things. It's connecting with people, it's building up your friends list, and number two is creating content. And the best way to get people to know you, like you, and trust you, it's to create content. So, and that's when the sale is actually made, because just prospecting, it's it is going to work, but it's much better when people can actually get to know you through your videos, through your blog posts, through status updates, through the images, through the live videos. So and to be honest, somebody actually, I think I was on a coaching call a few weeks ago, and the guy asked me, like, Jelena, can you tell me how did you sign up all the people into MLSP? And I decided to go over my list of people that I signed up over the course of a year, and pretty much every single person has reached out to me. I mean, I did connect with them. I did create content, and then they reached out to me because of the content that I've created. Had I not created content, they would not sign up with me. They would go and find somebody else. So that's, kind of the power of creating content, and as well as people will not do business with you without that KLT factor. So without that know, like, and trust. And I mean, I know everyone is talking about it, but it's really like the stuff that, that should be there, because people will never do business with you, unless you have that trust and rapport established with them. So types of content to share. So what kind of content should you be sharing on social media or just in general? So the first thing is, and I'm gonna give you a couple of examples of the content that I've been sharing, although like the last 2 weeks has just been pretty much like selfies and like, Las Vegas and Grand Canyon, all those places. But I would say when you're starting out, let's say, like business tips, hacks, quotes, or takeaways from books, webinars, audios, wake-up calls, random thoughts, that stuff works all the time, because people, how do you really kind of build rapport with people? Like sometimes people, you have to start a conversation, have a conversation through the messenger with somebody, but I have built up a lot of rapport with people through my videos, because they kind of get to know you, and you can share business tips and hacks through videos, or you can post status updates, or you can post images, with quotes. Where to get content? I mean, I already mentioned it. Like you get content through books, through webinars, just like this one, through audios, audiobooks, wake-up calls. And say, in MLS we have daily wake-up calls from Monday to Friday, and just like random thoughts. I mean, I cannot come up with anything right now, but I posted a status update, which was kind of ridiculous. It was really not a business stuff or anything like that. But when I arrived to Las Vegas, it was late after a 26-hour flight. And I just had a crazy idea or something, and I arrived to Luxor, so it's like a hotel shaped like a pyramid. And I said, finally arrived to Las Vegas, and my hotel looks like a pyramid. Like hashtag MLM jokes. So that kind of stuff. And I got over 200 likes. When it comes to getting engagement, you never know what's gonna work. I think like 250 people liked it, like I don't know, 30 comments or something like that. I very rarely get that kind of engagement on my regular status updates or videos. And I was like,
that's awesome. That's why the engagement, that's why the Wi-Fi is so good. It's the shape.
Exactly. So right, I mean, you have to mix things up. It should not be just business. It should be some fun stuff, some jokes, because some people just say, well, it's business, I have to be kind of serious. No, I would not do business with someone who's really serious. And if you look at Ray Heaton, he could look a little bit serious when he's speaking on stage or something like that, but he does like to have some fun as well. And you like Scott and Miguel, that Ray's, a cool guy. So he's, always like throwing out some jokes, and people are not going to relate to you just if you post business stuff. If you just show them that you're a real person, only then they are going to do business with you. Because just building a business with somebody who's super serious all the time, who's wearing like a suit and tie, I would not want to build a business with that kind of person. So the second type of content is quotes. I kind of mentioned them a little bit, but pictures, I mean, I always use those. Do not overdo that. If you post like if you post on Facebook 5 times today and it's only going to be picture quotes, that's just boring, and it just shows that you don't really have intelligence, should I say. So it's not really a smart idea to just share quotes, and people aren't really going to follow you, because I mean, you should not be like a quote resource, okay? We have Google for that. So if people want to find quotes, they can go to Google and find that. But do not share just quotes. Mix it up. I usually post, 1 quote a day, like a picture quote, maybe like even like 1 every 2 days or something like that. I haven't posted any within the last 5 days, probably, just because I post, a lot of other stuff. But, that's just one piece of content that you can use. And there's, you can either create pictures yourself with your branding on them, with your website, with your, hashtag, with your Instagram username or something like that. But me personally, I'm kind of lazy for that. I have not been doing that enough, and I've just been using images that have been created by somebody else with their branding. So, and that works totally fine as well. So another thing is ask questions to start a conversation. And honestly, it can be, again, anything. It can be a random question. Just to give you 2 examples, one business, another one is not business. The first question I asked, and not the first like ever question, but just like at the top of my head, I asked. Actually, there was a cool update on Facebook where I'm now able to go live from desktop. So I don't know if it's available for everybody. It's not the best way to go live. I still like my phone much better because the quality is better and just, everything is better in general. And I posted a question like, hey, just noticed that Facebook has allowed me to go live from desktop. Anybody else tried it? And I had a boatload of comments of people commenting about that update. Why? Because it's a brand new kind of stuff. It's something that, maybe a lot of people are willing to use. And it was kind of like a trending use kind of stuff. So that was a little bit kind of like a business question. So you can do that for, let's say, for webinars. If you do a webinar, you kind of can ask, like, hey, if I shared with you, like, how to get 25 leads a day within the next, 10 days, and I did a webinar about that, would you like to come over? Drop a yes into the comments if you'd like to come over, right? So those kinds of questions. Another question I asked, which was kind of random again, and I don't even know why I did that, but we were actually looking for a place to have breakfast in Vegas, and since there's a lot of places, and I would say do not post too much of that kind of stuff. I just posted, and like some people were like, really? Like, are you asking that? And I just asked, like, where is a good place to have breakfast in Las Vegas? So, and I had probably, I don't know, like 30 comments or something like that. So that's just kind of way, it was not my way to get engagement or like a sneaky way to get engagement. I don't really like that kind of stuff, where you just like, where you see like, 20 people posting the exact same status update asking the same question. I'm like, dude, like seriously, I mean, can you just be a little bit more creative or something? But that was just like kind of, it was a genuine question. I did not like, ask it with some kind of agenda. I just wanted to eat in a good place. So that's kind of the second type of question. Another way, creating content, and I would say this is really the key, because last year I was not doing videos, not because I was lazy or because of anything like that. Number one problem was I'm not used to doing videos. I'm not used to, that's not something that I was taught in school. And my first language is Russian. I was like, I'm too Russian to do videos. I mean, I'm not able to do that. I have a freaking accent. I mean, somebody told me that I have an accent last year, and I was like, what, really? I thought everyone else had an accent, and I don't have one. Like, I have a perfect, like, Russian kind of style English. And then I just didn't do videos because, I couldn't put together 2 words. Right now I'm doing this webinar. I'm still kind of blown away that I'm talking for over an hour. Last year I couldn't do it, like 10-second video on Instagram or whatever. 3-minute video was a struggle. I used to record videos for freaking like an hour to get it done, and still they still suck. If you go back to YouTube, those videos are just terrible. Like you can go watch them just to to have a good laugh, or to like, some people just like going there and seeing them to see the progress. But yeah, like videos is really where it's at, because before videos I was not getting any results, and just hiding behind your computer, it's not really going to work that well, because when people get to see you, when they can see that you are a real person, when you're actually out there, that's when they're actually going to reach out to you as well. And I would say, like, I had a lot of people reaching out to me since last year, just saying like, oh my gosh, I love your videos and all that kind of stuff. So, and I mean, when you help somebody with your videos, I mean, it's just great to receive, little thank you. So, and I would say videos do change everything, and especially live videos right now with Facebook. Holy cow. Like, when people ask me, what kind of equipment are you using? What kind of lights do you have? Like all that kind of stuff. And I say to them, well, you don't really have to have anything. Just have your phone and, have a decent lighting. If you can go outside and record a video there, by all means do that. So, and live videos, I just love it, because when you build up an audience on Facebook, and let's say if you connect with people every single day, and, and then, you just go live and people see you as if you are here, it's just a great way to engage with them, to interact with people, and to, I don't know, like Facebook Live is just so real. I mean, it's unedited, it's raw. If you mess up, you mess up. It was difficult for me too, and I do forget words. every once in a while, because I don't have kind of like my Google Translate with me right now. I cannot translate a quick word or something like that. But live videos is really where it's at, because it's simple. You just, type a little, headline, you click on the button, you start talking, you finish, you click away, and you're done. Like, no software, no technology requires at all. So probably the simplest form of recording videos. And another type of content, and I would say this is probably the most attractive, and this is the one that's going to get you more engagement than anything else, which is lifestyle. When you're traveling, when you're going somewhere with family, when you're going to live events, I mean, you're always going to get more engagement, especially, for example, when I'm doing Facebook Live from home. I usually get maybe between 200 views, sometimes 400 views. It's kind of like 150 views. I would not say it's like it's pretty good, right? So but when I go live on over here, from whenever I'm traveling, I mean, I did one Facebook Live video. I mean, just today, an hour ago, I did a video right before the hangout, which got about 175 views, like within an hour. That's pretty good. I mean, another video I did, and I cannot see it right now, but it was like around 800 views. So I would say people like to see kind of the change of background. So, and that's just the stuff that's really attractive, because people don't get into business to stay in business all the time and just like be glued to the computer. But people are attracted to lifestyle and to what can be done when using network marketing as a vehicle to to travel, to do all the fun stuff that you want. So do mix it up. Do not make it all about business. And also, like, do a little bit of promotion, because if you want to make money, you have to promote something, obviously. So if it's going to be a webinar invite, if it's going to be a newsletter invite, or just like sharing some free stuff, I mean, like, just and I'll tell you, I got but I don't do a whole lot of promotion. It's probably around like 10-20%. Most of my promotion goes through my blog or through Facebook Lives. I did do a little promotion today for this webinar. So I posted an image, and it was kind of like an engagement kind of post. So I didn't really drop a link or anything like that, but I just kind of asked people to leave a comment to get access to the webinar. And I mean, with this strategy, like a little promotion that I did from my fan page and from my profile, I got like over 100 leads in about 24 to 36 hours. And I got placed like, number 3 in Ray Hidden's affiliate contest, which was kind of cool. So promotion on social media works if you, number 1, build an audience, and number 2, create content and build rapport with your audience. So promotion is something that, has to be a part of your, routine. So, but again, social media content is not enough. I mean, it's great. That's a good kind of basis, and you can do a lot of stuff on there. But just to give you an example, if you do a Facebook Live today, maybe like, a month from now, it's no longer relevant. It cannot be found by people at all. Whenever somebody is asking me a question like, hey, Jelena, how do I do this or how do I do that? And I say, hey, I did a Facebook Live. Let me actually go look it up for you. Because like for somebody, if I want to point them to a Facebook Live, it's going to take them forever to find it. So I can find it in about like 10-15 minutes, maybe less. But it's just not leveraged because it cannot be found on Google. I cannot send, a direct link, or I cannot do a search like I can on my blog. And it's not leveraged. So it's leveraged for a very short period of time, for probably the first maybe like 24 hours to up to 7 days, max, so maybe like even 5 days. So you need leverage, like I mentioned. So blogging and YouTube video marketing. So those are the two places you should go. Like even if you're not doing, even if you're not going to be doing blogging in the beginning and you just want to use Facebook to create that kind of foundation, that's totally cool. But that's more of a short-term strategy. The long-term strategy is blogging and video marketing, because people do search stuff all the time. Just within the last week, I had so many searches like that led to my blog, and I'm still getting traffic and I'm still getting leads through my blog. I'm not really getting a lot of leads from my Facebook Lives over the last, like week or two. But from my blog, I think without really blogging, I probably got within the last 2 weeks, maybe 30 or 40 extra leads from my blog, which is kind of cool because I'm not really blogging right now. So because people like it's, when people say, well, I create a blog post, is it going to be found on Google right now? not yet. If you just have one blog post, it's probably not going to get found on Google right off the bat. But once you remain consistent over and over again, it is going to kick in. Because last year I had, 0 blog posts. I didn't have a lot of content out there, but right now, like as of the recording of this webinar, I have 333 blog posts. And it's like, the reason I like it is because as if you're kind of cloning yourself. When you have like multiple videos out there, when you have multiple blog posts, or on the internet, people can find it, and it's just more powerful than just using Facebook, right? So, and again, like I said, you invest time now to create that piece of content, but over time, you're going to thank yourself that you're doing that you actually start doing this right now, because people are going to be able to find you through Google, through YouTube, and it's free traffic. Because I do like paid advertising. I do like, all those strategies, and invest your money in right now, and just paid advertising in general. But the thing is, let's say if you stop putting money into it, you stop getting results. So that's why I say, like, you have to have some kind of, foundation, because with blogging, you create, let's say, 100 blog posts, and then you don't have to go back to them and like change something or whatever. You can if you want to, but it's not really a necessity. So, and also the reason I like blogging, and I mean, like, I'm a huge proponent of blogging, because it helps you create instant authority. So like I said, like when I found Ray Higdon and Cesar Rodriguez, and I saw their blogs, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are celebrities. Oh my gosh, how can I get there? And that's the perception of blogging. When you see someone with a website, you just know they're an authority. So the same thing applies to to YouTube, to videos. When you see someone who's teaching stuff, immediately you position them as an expert. So Facebook Lives are cool and they're short term, but this stuff is long term, and it's going to get you results over time. Not right now, but if you just keep sticking to it, if you keep doing that, then I mean, you're going to be really thankful that you actually did. So, and also like about content structure. So I'm actually almost done with my slides. So the content structure, how do you create that content that's actually going to get you leads? Because just throwing out some kind of, little status update or some kind of like, video without one little thing, without having a good structure, it's not really going to help you out. So the first thing, and this is honestly, this applies both to videos and blog posts, because whenever I write a blog post, there's usually some kind of introduction. There's usually the first paragraph where I just, kind of introduce the topic that I'm going to be talking about. And in the videos, you have to first introduce yourself. So, who you are, your blog, your blog URL, and then you move on to either asking a question like, hey, would you like to, hey, my name is Jelena from JelenaOstrovska.com. Would you like to know how to generate 100 leads in 24 hours? Something like that. So ask a question. Or something that I kind of do more of is I just give a statement that in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 ways to generate more leads from Facebook without using paid advertising, right? So give them a statement so that people can expect what you're going to share in that video. So it's, again, this applies, the second part is applies only to videos, because you really do not kind of ask a question in the in the blog post. You can, but it's kind of like more for videos. And obviously the third thing is content. You have to deliver what you said you were going to deliver, because if you don't, people aren't going to follow you. If you said that you were going to deliver like 3 tips but you share only 1, they're going to be like, what the heck are the other 2 tips? So you have to become someone who's going to be of integrity, and even maybe like over deliver, which is one of the keys in this industry as well. And last but not least, if you just have those 3 pieces of structure, that's great. But the fourth one, which is CTA, call to action, is where most people fail. And I did that too. I had no call to actions in my videos or in my Facebook Lives. Sometimes I still do forget them, especially in the Facebook Lives. But in videos, let's say, and you may think, well, I do have a call to action. Well, if you say, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or like this video, it's not a call to action. The call to action is something that's going to lead people to an opt-in form. So what I usually say at the end of every video is, if you got some value, I do say them, I do say to them, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, blah, blah, blah. And then if you would like to get more trainings and tips delivered to your inbox, head on over to my blog, opt in, enter your name and email information, and you'll be added to my newsletter. And, if you just have a newsletter, just say this, leave your name and email at this place. So point people to a direction where you want them to go. So because if you don't tell people what to do, they will not do anything. So that's why call to action is really, really important, as well as in your blog posts. At the end of each blog post, always have either like a little PS line or some kind of, sentence that, if you want to, learn how to generate more leads, click here, that kind of stuff. So call to action is really the key in every single piece of content, because I'll tell you that when I was not having a call to action in my videos, actually telling people to opt in, I was not getting a lot of leads. Once I added that, I immediately saw the increase of leads, because before I was not getting like a lot of them, and then after adding that, there was a big difference. So my question for you is, did you get some value from this? I'm pretty sure we're gonna get to some questions or something like that, but I do have one more thing that I want to share. I do like to over-deliver, so I think we went a little bit over time already, but I did mention personal development, and that you have to be at least reading every day, or at least even like listening to audiobooks. So there's a list of books that, these are like my favorite ones, and I would say they're really must read. So the first one is kind of the Abyss book. You can take a screenshot of that, if you want. So this is the books. I mean, I've read quite a bit of them, but these ones are still kind of, I would say, some of them are really the foundational, while others can be like a kick in the butt, like the 10X rule. Laws of Success, this is actually the new one by Les Brown. The Slight Edge, this one made a huge difference for me when it comes to like being consistent. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, this one is really short, but really, I would say the book that everyone has to read, especially if you tend to procrastinate. Magnetic Sponsoring by Mike Dillard, it's a pretty obvious one. That book really made a lot of sense to me when it comes to building a home business. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, if you struggle with your mindset, then that's the book to read. The 10X Rule, it's really to give you a kick in the butt. And The One Thing by Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, this is the productivity book. So if you really want kind of the strategies, how to be more productive, that's a great book. So, and that's pretty much it.
Wow, that was it. Scott, did you have something there, man?
I just want to ask, since you started becoming a coach, and you're now enrolled in an active coaching program, how has that affected the way that you now look at your business as opposed as before you became a coach?
Okay, yeah. So when I was not a coach, I would say being a coach really made a huge difference. I would say, I was building up an audience and I was getting results, and obviously becoming a coach was not super simple. You had to be someone who has results, with a specific rank, all that kind of stuff. But in the beginning, I would say, and I mean, I did get a coach myself, so he really helped me out when it comes to what kind of stuff to do in my business. And I mean, I just started looking at everything from a different perspective, because in the beginning, and I was trained like how to, do those coaching calls. We went through, through a pretty intense training of like, 7-8 hours, and it's still like ongoing. Like, in order for you to become a good coach, number one, you have to get trained, and number two, you have to keep learning yourself. Because if I say to do something to people, but I don't do it, I don't really feel good. Because let's say if I have a coaching client and I say to them, hey, you have to be reading every single day, and I don't do that, then it's like, I don't like, I want to be a person of integrity. So, and I would say it really pushed me as well to do the stuff that I was maybe procrastinating a little bit on. If I were not really like, prospecting, if I was not really creating content consistently, and because I do want to do the stuff that I do tell to people, because I did say one thing to my mom last year: do not follow the advice that do not give advice to people that you do not follow. So, and I would say, if I don't do, let's say, webinars, I'm not gonna tell people to go do webinars, because I personally, I know how to do it. but I just don't do them right now. I've been kind of like, slammed with a lot of like different activities. And let's say if I don't do solo ads, I'm not going to teach people how to do them. So, and I would say it really pushed me to be more aware of the stuff that I do, that I have to do in my business. And yeah, I would say that made a huge difference for me too.
Awesome. Thank you. That's all I got, Miguel.
Oh, okay. That's a lot. I mean, you touched on a lot of points there as far as, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what to ask. I think you covered pretty much everything.
Right?
Wow. I mean, honestly, the idea that prospecting is not enough, that is pretty powerful. It really, really is powerful, because you consider it the first place people are going to look when you say hello, when you go to talk to them, they're going to look straight at your profile. They're going to head right there, and they're going to see what you're about. They're going to find out what you're up to immediately. So you definitely want to have some nice looking posts on there, some good posts with some engagement. That's very, very cool. So, I don't think I have much else for you, Jelena. Do you have any parting thoughts or ideas you wanted to leave with us before we go ahead and wrap this up this evening?
Yeah, I would say if you're looking for secret stuff, because that's the stuff you should be doing on a daily basis. And honestly, I shared Facebook, but you can do this with any social media. If your thing is Instagram, by all means, go for it. So these are just like the principles always stay the same. And the second thing I would mention is just be consistent, because if you do this consistently, you're going to get results. I mean, I just showed you like the whole stuff that I've been doing for the last year. It works, and it can work for you if you just implement that consistently. Not just like 1 week I do this and then I'm not going to do this. I mean, right now I can take a week, like a week break out of blogging, because I have that foundation. But if you don't have that foundation yet, you have to show up every single day consistently to show people that, hey, I'm here, and that's the way to get noticed. So consistency is the name of the game.
Jelena, that actually brings up one point. Just explain what consistency actually means. Now, you touched on this in the very beginning of the hangout here, and I know we were chatting before the hangout kind of got started, and you'd mentioned the number of blog posts that you've done in time. Now, just to give a perspective, a real perspective. Now, this is going to kick some people in the butt. I just know it. Somebody's going to freak out about this when they find out exactly what is involved. So, I mean, just let them know, like, what does consistency, what is it supposed to look like compared to what maybe some people are actually doing?
Okay, so number one, you have to do the activities daily. And let's say, for example, for me, I do email my list every single day. I think I missed a couple of days because I was traveling and I physically could not do that, but it was kind of a legitimate excuse, should I say. And the second thing is, for me, like, you have to choose your consistency. Like, I always bring up blogging because that's kind of like my main thing. And I made a decision last year that if Ray Higdon could do blogging, being in foreclosure, then I'm going to be able to do that too. So I kind of thought, okay, so he was no special. His blog even like used to look ugly. Some people said that. And I'm like, well, I totally got it. So, and he said, there was one thing that really stuck with me, and it still is. He said, blog for 180 days, which is 6 months, consistently, and tell me you're getting results. And I said, challenge accepted, I'm doing that. So, and I decided to do blogging for 5 to 7 times a week in, week out for 6 months. After 6 months exactly, I started getting consistent lead flow every single day from my blog. So did it take me a lot of time? Well, yeah. Like, I had a lot of sleepless nights. I physically right now probably sleep for 3, maybe like 4, maybe like maximum 6 hours, 4-6 hours, something along those lines. But it's worth it. And I would say consistency, if you want to do blogging every single day, do that. I would say choose your consistency. For me, it was 5 times a week, sometimes 7. So that was kind of like my flow. So get into that flow. If it's going to be 4 weeks, 4 times a week for you, then do that. But I would say you have to show up, consistent. Let's say if it's going to be webinars, if it's going to be wake-up calls. Let's say in MLS we have daily wake-up calls. And I've been plugging into all the wake-up calls. Unless I don't have internet, I'm not going to be able to plug in, because I do plug in, through Skype. This is international. And I talked to Brian Finale in Austin, and he said, I hear you all the time with those wake-up calls. What time is it for you when you join? I'm like, well, it's 6 p.m. And leaders do notice. Like, even if you think that nobody notices that you're on webinars, I would say, some people ask me, like, how do you have, like, people, like, a lot of people know you? I said, well, because I go to webinars. Like, the last year, I've been on almost all the MLSP webinars, all the Tuesday Hangouts, all the Wednesday webinars, on almost all the wake-up calls. And being present, like, let's say if it's your primary company and you really want to get your name out there, go to their webinars, go to their events, go to be active in their Facebook group, in your Facebook group. And I would say showing up is just like one part of the process, as well as within your company, within your community, and as well as just by for me, showing up consistently is being out there on Facebook every single day. When people reach out to me and they say, oh my gosh, I cannot get get away from you. Whenever I go to Facebook, I see your stuff like every single morning. I was like, that's the goal. So that's the way you have to show up. And that's what I call consistency. Again, being really relentless, like every single day, just like slamming it.
It's so important. I'm so glad you shared that, and just coming from an honest point of view, because 180 days, now that's 6 months out of a year. If you're honest with yourself, ask yourself that question. How many times have you been able to do something for 180 days for 6 months straight without fail, 5 to 7 times a week? If you're honest with yourself, you're going to have that answer, and then you're going to know exactly where you need to go and what needs to be fixed. So thank you, Jelena, for sharing that. I wanted to get that point out, because it is so much of the microwave mentality that we get all the time, that people, you come into this industry, you're promised fast money, cool cars, you're going to be on trips and all this other stuff in like a month. And it's just not the case. I mean, it takes the work. So thank you for putting that out there, and thank you for your fabulous content tonight. It was absolutely amazing. You over-delivered over 90 minutes of just straight good content to help you. I think there was way more than 3 steps in there about firing your boss. So that was like 29 steps of firing your boss. So pick one and go for it. All right, guys. Scott, did you have anything before we jump off, my friend?
No, it was awesome. I just got to say thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I know you're having a blast in Vegas, so thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really hope it helps at least one person, but you got to take action. You got to take action on that.
Absolutely. Okay, folks. I am Miguel Fuentes with Scott Lindstrom and Jelena Ostrovska. We are the Influence Tribe. We are here to help you get results in your business. We are here to help you get the direction you need to go the right way with the professionals, the marketers, the people that can help you the most are in this community. If you do want to be a part of this community, on the right-hand side of this video, there is a big yellow button. Go and click it. You're going to have an opportunity to join us, to join the Influence Tribe, to be inside of our community, the My Lead System Pro community, which is amazing. We have so many amazing leaders here that actually care about the people that are inside of the community. So definitely go do that. Go click that link, fill out the form, take your test drive, and we'll be talking to you real soon. Once again, good night, folks. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.